Berlin, 1936. The world gathers for the Olympic Games, a spectacle that would be forever stained by the shadow of Nazi propaganda. But beneath the grandstands and behind the scenes, a different story unfolded. A story of courage, identity, and the athletes who challenged not just the competition, but society's rigid expectations. This is the untold story of the athletes who changed their sex and redefined what it means to compete. Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most fascinating yet overlooked aspects of Olympic history. Today we'll explore the lives of several athletes who competed in the early 20th century. Athletes who were assigned female at birth but later transitioned to live as men. These are stories that challenge our understanding of gender, identity, and the very foundations of modern sports. Much of what we'll discuss today is inspired by Michael Waters' upcoming book. It's a compelling look at how these athletes navigated a world that was often hostile to their very existence. Our journey begins with Kinoue Hitomi, a Japanese track and field star who competed in the 1928 Olympics. After showing signs of exhaustion in the 800-meter sprint, male sports officials quickly used this as evidence that women couldn't handle such strenuous events. But the criticisms ran deeper. They accused her of being too masculine, a precursor to the controversies that would erupt in the years to come. Kubek was a Czech athlete who broke records in the women's 800-meter dash, but whispers about Kubek's gender began circulating, whispers that would eventually lead to surgeries in 1936 and a decision to live as a man. Kubek's story is one of resilience, yet also one of intense scrutiny that forced him into the spotlight at a time when being different could be dangerous. In Britain, Mark Weston's journey was similar. A champion shot putter who began questioning his identity in the 1930s, Weston eventually transitioned in 1936 after 2 surgeries. His story was public, and he even offered to return his medals, believing he had won them in good faith. Perhaps the most infamous case was that of Heinrich Heinz Ratjen, a high jumper who was coerced by the Nazis to compete as a woman. The Nazis' fixation on control over every aspect of life extended even to the bodies of athletes, leading to invasive tests and a climate of fear. These stories didn't just affect the lives of the athletes themselves, they had lasting impacts on sports policies. The obsession with sex testing began here, laying the groundwork for a legacy of bodily surveillance that would disproportionately affect women athletes for decades to come. The 1936 Olympics were more than just a sports event. They were a battleground for identity and human rights. The stories of these athletes remind us that the struggle for acceptance and dignity in sports has deep roots. As we continue to debate issues of gender in athletics today, we must remember the courage of those who came before and the lessons their lives can teach us. If you found this story as compelling as we did, consider diving deeper with Michael Waters. It's a powerful read that sheds light on the complex intersections of fascism, queerness, and modern sports. Subscribe for more untold stories from history.